Hey everyone, Lynx here, back at it again with another unscripted video. I wanted to talk about the warrior changes, as a lot of people were asking me on stream on Tuesday, and I have a lot to say about it because I think my perspective on it is a bit different from how most people would interpret it. The first thing I want to say is, like on my last video, I really do like the warrior changes. I think they feel great. I think the play style of like Storm's Eye stacking and using Nascent Flash solo on yourself it's awesome. Regardless if you dislike or like the changes, you have to admit that being able to use Nascent Flash on yourself is it's so good. I mean, Warriors got Bloodbath back. We've been asking for it for years, and here it is. We have Bloodbath. It's there. We have it. It's so good. I'm just really happy with the changes overall. But yeah, with the first impressions out of the way, let's just get into the deeper talk here. The first thing I want to say is that I don't think numbers are everything, and this was something I saw a lot on the Balance Discord and a little bit on Twitter when the patch notes came out. Is people that were just upset that Warrior isn't going to be buffed potency wise, and I had a really big disagreement with this because I don't think potencies are everything, especially when the tanks are already balanced. With Bard and things like that, like, yes, you do need some buffs there. There is definitely a place for damage increases, and as much as I want Warrior to be the top DPS tank and to be the best tank, and I want the Warrior to just be amazing, I think it's in a good place right now. Is the damage a bit lower than the other tanks? Yes, it is, but not by an insane margin to the point where I think a lot of people get the wrong idea that bringing Warrior is just trolling. I hear a lot of more casual players, I guess you could say, or less in the know players on the tank balance saying like, oh, I see a Warrior in my party and they're just trolling. Warrior is just a troll pick, and it's really not. I mean, Warrior is great at what it does. You know, Warrior doesn't need to be top DPS to be brought to a raid right now. In fact, I think bringing a Warrior to progression, especially on Ultimate, is a really, really good decision because of just how much healing they have. And now that you can use Nascent Flash solo, that healing is even better. So, yeah, I don't think that the potencies needed to be increased. Would I have liked to see a potency increase? Yeah, personally, as a selfish player, I would like to see Warrior be the best, but I don't think it's what it needed. I think what matters more than numbers is play style, how it feels to play. Is it punishing or too punishing? Is it intricate? Is it enjoyable? Does it feel good? Is it satisfying? Like, there's so many different styles of playing a Warrior that's way more interesting to me than just how much damage does it do. You know, you can have a class that has one button that does 1,000 potency, and you just spam that one button, and it might be the highest DPS class in the game, but it's definitely going to be really boring. So I think the play style and the feel of a class matters way more. Now, I kind of touched on it there. Warrior is not bad. I mean, I think people get the wrong impression here that Warrior is just like way below everybody else. And if we look at FF logs, we see that Warrior's actually performing pretty well. I mean, it's competitive with Dark Knight on Savage, and it's doing good. Warrior is not the best, but it has its own niche. You know, you have that healing, you have cooldowns available, you have Equilibrium, Nascent Flash, Shake It Off is the best tank AoE mitigation in the game. You just have a lot of options to like be a mitigative tank, to be a support player, and I think Warrior is a great tank to play in progression because maybe your healers are busy, boom, put up a Nascent Flash, put up a Inner Chaos, you just got healed for 30k, use Equilibrium, another 35k, maybe a 50k crit, and you're just a healer. You're kind of a healer as a Warrior. Warriors, I think, when played well, I mean, I've soloed dungeons, and we did this on stream a few weeks ago where me and a dancer were duoing the final boss of Amarant, and we got the final boss of Amarant from 60% to dead as a dancer and Warrior combo. We didn't even need a healer. Warriors are just kind of insane, and their healing is crazy, and now that we have like Bloodbath back and solo Nascent Flash, it's just kind of insane. Warrior is in no way a bad job, and I think people get this wrong idea just because they see a tier list that says Warrior is the lowest, and they think, oh, well, then it must be terrible. When in reality, the tanks are more balanced than they've ever been before. The tanks are extremely, extremely close in terms of what you want in a raid team, right? Like, their damage is really, really close, their utility is really, really close. The tanks are just insanely balanced, and we're looking at like 2 to 3% differences to decide what's meta, and that 2 to 3% difference is not going to make or break whether you should bring a tank if you want to play it. I think one of the best changes that we've seen so far is just how less punishing Storm's Eye is. I've said it for a lot of months now on Warrior, especially with the Inner Chaos changes, that Storm's Eye is just a really, really punishing skill, and like refreshing it early was always a DPS loss, and I think that was terrible. If you use, Storm's Eye, let's say 10 seconds are left, then you lost 10 seconds of Eye, you lost a whole path combo or Fell Cleaves or something, and it was just really, really punishing. And now that you can stack it above its max duration, the punishment aspect of Storm's Eye is way lower. I know I saw a lot of people that were upset about this and how, oh, the class is so easy now, it's brain dead, and people like to throw these big words of just, it's so bad now because it's so dumb and easy and boring, and it's like, Warrior to me was always the job, especially, I'm talking specifically about Shadowbringers here. Warrior was the job that was extremely easy to play unoptimally, but extremely hard to play optimally. And what I mean by that is like spreadsheeting a fight to know the lowest duration you can reapply your Storm's Eye, and how to get your inner chaoses inside every raid buff because they're random timer, and Fell Cleave reducing Infuriate pushes your inner chaoses to weird timings, and you won't always have your inner chaoses up when you want them, and then you need to actively combat inner release versus Storm's Eye timer plus inner chaos versus Storm's Eye timer. There was just so much that was going on between Warrior's different timings, and it was extremely hard to optimize. Playing it at like a decent level, extremely easy. If you're not worried about where you put your inner chaoses and reapplying your Eye early, yeah, Warrior was really, really easy. But as someone who put a lot of thought, effort, and time into Warrior last tier, it was extremely annoying to see just how many different rotations you could come up with, how many different scenarios you would end up in, when to use your buffs. If you have a trick attack, it changes your whole rotation, versus if you have a Brotherhood, you use a completely different rotation, you'll use your inner chaoses in a different place. It was so annoying to try and play it perfectly, and I think the Storm's Eye change really alleviates a lot of that, because I don't have to worry about where's my Storm's Eye going, how is my timer looking. It's just, if I want my Storm's Eye up, I'll put it up. If it's getting low, I put it up again. Whatever. It's like, it opens up ease of use in optimizing Warrior, and I think that's a good thing. As a tank player, I don't think I need an insanely intricate, in-depth, thought-out rotation. I think it's okay to have a less intensive rotation as a tank, because I have more that's going on. I'm worried about my mitigation cooldowns, I'm worried about mitigating raid damage, I'm worried about where the boss is going, the positioning, are my melees getting good positional uptime, am I tanking in a good place, is the boss in a weird place, is my other tank about to die, do I need to voke off of him? There's way more in my brain that's going on than just my rotation, whereas a DPS might just be looking at their rotation and they don't really care about their HP or the mitigation because, well, I'm just a DPS and the healers deal with that. So I don't think tanks need to have these insanely intricate rotations to be fun, because my enjoyment from tanking comes a lot of outside of the class. For me personally, my enjoyment of tanking comes from moving the boss perfectly, having the exact spot that's good for melees, mitigating as much damage as I can while doing as much damage as I can. Like, there's a lot more besides just, oh, my rotation is fun, that I enjoy about tanking. One of the subtle undocumented changes to Storm's Eye is actually that the second you press the button, you get the buff now, instead of having to wait for the whole animation. And this is great because in the past, if you wanted to go into a Storm's Eye directly into an upheaval, you had to wait until the end of your GCD and risk it, or wait till the next GCD to upheaval, because you wouldn't get the 10% damage buff until Storm's Eye was actually on your bar. Which is really nice now that you can press Storm's Eye and immediately press upheaval the second that Storm's Eye goes off, because you get that buff instantly, and that's great. Now, the one thing I was really, really worried about when I saw this change, my first, instant reaction was, oh man, we're going to be spamming path combos non-stop. We're just going to be spamming path combos all day, and it's just going to be Dark Knight version 2 where you don't have a third combo because you just spam path all day. And I'm happy to say I did not notice the extra path combos going out because of how much you have in between them. So your Fell Cleaves, your inner chaoses, your inner release using more Fell Cleaves, there's a lot in between your combo skills, you're breaking up your combo often enough that using Storm's Path more often didn't feel bad at all. I really didn't notice it. On top of the fact that you didn't really gain any path combos, you just kind of use them back to back instead of in between your eyes now, because it used to be I path path, I path path. Now you can do I path 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 path. You can kind of do it a lot, but that doesn't mean you're gaining paths really. You're just kind of using it more back to back, so it feels like you're doing more. But like I said, happily to say that spamming path was not something I noticed, and the class still feels exactly like it did before. It just feels more like an easier to optimize Warrior, a more kind of open style of play that's less restrictive. I don't feel like I'm set in stone on this on-rails rotation to get the perfect Storm's Eye timer, and if I don't stick to my perfect on-rails rotation, then my Storm's Eye timer will come up early or later, or I'll drop it, or I'll have to apply it earlier than I want to, or something like that. And it feels great. It feels awesome to know that, like, hey, my Stormside timer is at 15 seconds. Not a big deal. I'll pop IR. I'll get that extra 15 seconds. Boom. Doesn't really matter. In the past, it was like, my Stormside timer is at 15 seconds. My Inner Chaos is at 40 seconds. I need to reapply my Stormside, but then if I reapply my Stormside, then my Inner Chaos is going to come back up, and I'll need to use my Inner Chaos, and that delays my IR by 4 GCDs, and it was like, it was so frustrating to optimize Warrior. And I love this new style of open play where it's like the Stormside timer is not dictating your entire gameplay. I love it. It feels amazing. It feels so more like much more open and free, and I can do what I want, and I love that. Now, like I said at the beginning of this video, yeah, I don't think Warrior is gonna be meta at all. I don't think these changes are a DPS increase by much. If it's a DPS increase, it's like 100 DPS because you're gaining, like, you know, a path combo every second IR or so, because you're getting 15 seconds from it. So like you get 30 free seconds of I per 2 IRs. Like, so it's not a big DPS increase. Is it a DPS increase? Yeah, it is. You're getting a little bit of a DPS increase, but not big enough to make it meta. We might see more Warriors versus Dark Knights, I think could be a thing, especially now with the tier being so old and people kind of like understanding that your TBNs don't really break from auto attacks anymore. We might see more Warriors than Dark Knights these days, which I think is great. It's always good to see the class diversity. I think Warrior was really underrepresented in this specific tier. So I would love to see more Warriors coming out and playing the job because it's less restrictive, and it's a little bit of a DPS increase, and it's kind of fun. It's really fun to play Warrior. I enjoyed a lot. So with that said, I might be maining it next tier. This is the last thing I want to talk about. You might see a return to Warrior on Lynx, man, and I'm really looking forward to that. Depending on how the next few months go and how it feels in more content, and we can get FF logs rolling when ACT is updated, and we can see the differences between Dark Knight and Warrior. I think we're likely to see Lynx go back to Warrior, which I'm personally really excited about because I love my baby Warrior, man. I'm so excited to play it again. I was a little bit heartbroken when I swapped to Dark Knight because I just thought it was better. But now I think Dark Knight and Warrior, they're pretty competitive. They're pretty competitive. So yeah, that's my whole thoughts on it, guys. I really like the changes. Like I said, they're really, really great. I don't think numbers are everything. I love the open play style, and we got Bloodbath back, which is always great for me personally because I love just soloing content, and it'd be great for the stream content. So that's everything, everybody. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. That's all I've got for you today, friends. If you liked this video, leave a like. If you didn't, a dislike. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay up to date with my content, and check out my Patreon if you want to support me further. Follow me on Twitch for live streams, Twitter for tweets, and join my Discord to engage with me directly. All links are down in the description. Thanks so much for watching. Peace!